was asking for a plague show.
Dude, no one wants to see a plague show in the year 2021. I promise you, we've lived it.
I don't think I want to see a plague show, period.
I think it might have been cool in maybe like 2010, like,
Yeah,
you
sure.
know, but it is just way too close to home for Ryan Murphy to even be considering making a whole series about it. Although maybe like that's his twisted mind being like, I could do it, That would be creepy, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be real? A little too real?
I'm sure he could do it, but will people want to watch it?
Dude, I wouldn't. And especially
I
if he's
wouldn't.
giving us options to vote, I'm gonna choose Bloody Mary over Plague.
Yeah, it's a classic
iconic-
story.
Iconic horror.
Iconic. You can constantly reinvent it, and we're like, we're not coming off a string of Bloody Mary murders, so it feels
Thank
a little
you.
better to watch and maybe laugh at.
I know, right? And also, I've seen Twitter going crazy over like Lady Gaga possibly for Bloody Mary. They're like trying a campaign
Ooh.
just so that people like on the hashtag will like get behind Bloody Mary. So there's like this whole campaign for Lady Gaga as Bloody Mary, and honestly, that'd be hot. That would be sick, scary, and twisted in so many good ways. And also, she's worked with Ryan Murphy before.
Exactly.
So
American Horror Story Hotel was like my least favorite season, but Lady Gaga was a standout.
I think I liked Hotel more than Roanoke.
See, I liked Roanoke. A lot of people didn't like Roanoke, but I thought it was fresh and new.
It was okay. It was fresh and new, but to me, it wasn't taking on a new format as it could have. It was like parodying a format, like the ID channel and like that type of like reenactment of stories.
It was camp. It was campy.
It was camp. Yeah,
because 1984 had a very similar vibe too, where it was like summer camp slasher horror.
Dude, I totally forgot about that season and I didn't see it.
It was pretty good, I gotta say. It was better. It was one of the better seasons. It was one of the better seasons.
It feels like American Horror Story went from being like a horror show to being kind of a camp horror show, which kind of feels like it falls in line with Ryan Murphy's style of like kind of turning more in that comedic direction. So
yeah, because even Apocalypse was like horror, but also like the Witch Gang is back.
Dude, whoa, did I miss both 1984 and Apocalypse?
Yeah. Ooh, girl. You gotta catch up.
I did. The last one I saw was fucking, I was gonna say Purge election year, but it was it was Cult, which was the last one I actually watched.
Those next two are pretty good.
Man, I gotta check them out.
Hopefully with the next season of American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy will know how to end a season.
Yeah.
What's with him?
He writes like there's always another episode left. And I'm like, no, 12 episode season.
Hey, Hollywood had a great ending.
I'm talking more about American Horror Story.
I mean, yes, Hollywood totally set up a sequel, but it did have a great ending.
Everything's setting up a sequel. It's like there's 12 episodes and it needs to be 13 to be like a complete thing. But then he saves it for like
season 2, episode 1.
Exactly.
It's especially weird to set up a sequel when your whole series is an anthology series. Like, I get that it's a connected universe and such, but like if season 4 isn't going to be Coven 2, then what's the point?
I think it's because he's planning on doing these for the rest of his life.
Which is fine. He could do that. And I'll probably watch.
He's taking a break right now from The Politician so that Ben Platt can age up, so that he can actually realistically be running for president.
Dedication.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's gonna wait until like for another 10 years.
A while.
Well, I think
gonna be the next
maybe
Boyhood.
It could be 5 years from the last season, maybe.
Will people want to watch The Politician 5 years later?
I would.
I would too, especially when Ben Platt is getting the traction that he deserves with his career. Like,
yeah.
I think he'll only be that much bigger in 5 years, and people will want to binge the first 2 seasons if they haven't already, just to catch up, because it's a big deal.
And you know what? I hope that people feel the same way about the Packcast, the Blackwolves
I was
podcast.
gonna say we
Hello,
just dove
everyone.
into it.
Hell yeah! No, yeah, we gotta should break the ice a little bit. You know, we gotta shake things up sometimes. You know, hello, people of today and people of the future. We're reporting you from the year 2021. I'm your host, Jeremy Van Suarez.
Yo, I'm Jacob Wade.
Hello, I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
And you know what's up? This is the Packcast, the Blackwolves podcast, where we talk about movies, games, music, whatever we want. Because we are the founders of Blackwolves Productions, and we love art.
That's right.
Period.
This is our show, baby.
Yeah.
We talk about what we want.
All right. Gold leader. Sorry, that's me. Blue leader. Take us away with some housekeeping.
Blue leader, I like that. We started doing this like Star Wars leader thing in just our friends group. I love it so much.
I call you blue leader because you're like cryogenic knight, and that's like ice.
Word.
And you've called me gold leader, so I don't know.
Word. I was thinking about changing yours to neon leader, but we'll discuss that later.
Too many syllables.
So housekeeping. Last night, it'll be like a couple days ago, but last night for us because it's Saturday. Was the premiere of Zoom for Change, the first show in the cycle, The Story by Tracy Scott Wilson. I was there, Jacob was there, Jeremy was there. We all watched along in the chat. So we were all.
That was excellent.
Yeah, we were discussing the shows. It was fantastic. Everybody did an amazing job. Christina Franklin did a great job directing. The actors, Nicole Johnson, Will Callahan, Dwayne Burress,
Mara Lucas.
Thank you. Mari Lucas. The four of them were incredible as the leads, and then Jacob.
Yeah, we have Tia McDonald. We've got Stephanie Winland and Richie Dupkin as the Duns. Justin Boyd was the voice of the detective who came back every once in a while. And then we also saw Contrella Kennedy, Jenny Mollet, and Christina Franklin made a cameo herself.
Yeah, she was great.
Oh, yeah.
It's good to see her acting again.
Yeah,
that was fantastic. We're continuing to promote Zoom for Change as these next 2 weeks go by. This week, which will be in 3 days when the podcast finally airs, Dinner with Friends is going to premiere by Donald Margulies, and that stars Jacob Wade, Will Callahan, Lauren Rexach, and
Eden Iernessy.
Thank you, Eden Iernessy. We're very excited about that. And then the week after is DNA by Dennis Kelly, which we will definitely talk a lot about in the next Packcast. For now, go check out the link in our Instagram bio. There's also going to be a link in the description of this video to donate to Zoom for Change. If you weren't here or have missed any of the announcements, Zoom for Change is a fundraiser for BEAM, the Black Emotional and Mental Health Coalition. We are attempting to raise money for this incredible charity by putting on 3 Zoom performances. The first one, The Story, has come and gone. You can never see it again. So if you don't want to miss the other 2, because they're both going to be really incredible shows, donate now. We are at, I think, almost $1,500. We would love to get to 5,000 before this whole thing is over. So donate, share with us when you donate. We would love to celebrate with you. We're very excited to be a part of this whole process.
These shows are at 7 on Fridays.
Yeah, shows start at 7 on Fridays. Thank you, Jacob.
Yeah, no problem.
Blackwolves doesn't really have anything to promote other than that right now. We're really in the heat of that. We're working on a couple other projects that we'll hopefully be talking about in the near future. But for right now, a lot of the stuff that we're doing is in pre-production, especially with the country opening back up. We're getting back to getting things in order so we can start filming things again.
And people getting vaccines. I'm getting my vaccine on Wednesday.
Congratulations, Jeremy.
And I feel blessed. It was really, really easy to set up an appointment.
Yeah, I gotta do mine.
And then it was not that it was funny, but then later on, my mom was like, "What's the website you use?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, look, this website. They had all these appointments," and it was like red. I was like, "Oh, sweet. Okay, cool."
Missed the boat on that one, Mom.
Yeah, I mean, it was my mom sending it to other people. She is already scheduled for her second dose.
Nice,
sweet.
Yeah,
she's good.
All that's left is my dad. We're gonna get him in his sleep.
Yeah, that's right. Self-administer.
Yeah, get him in his sleep and then do it again. A couple months later. Exactly. Speaking of things that seem to strangely happen overnight, Netflix has been acquiring some really big rights to movie sequels recently.
True that.
I think about a month ago, we saw them acquire the rights to the sequels to Knives Out for like, I think it was like several $1 billion, I believe. It was a very expensive acquisition, and they're doing it again by teaming up with Sony Pictures this time. And the movies that they will get exclusive streaming rights to include movies like Morbius, Uncharted,
Woo.
Bullet Train, and the sequel to the Oscar-winning Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
In the future, it will also cover installments from major Sony franchises like Jumanji and Bad Boys, and this also includes the new MCU Spider-Man movie.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, that doesn't mean that it'll be a Netflix original, right? It just means
no.
Netflix
It's just
the
streaming
hold on the
rights.
streaming.
Yeah,
That's
they're doing
cool.
Theatrical release and then on demand, and then after it's done on demand, it goes to Netflix.
That's great. That
Yeah.
sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
Yeah,
Basically, Netflix just gets first crack at it.
Exactly, and I think this is just, and following the shittiest year of the 21st century, I think this is just another win for consumers.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing as much backlash about this as the HBO Max deal, but that's also because HBO Max was kind of like day one, you can watch it on HBO, whereas with Netflix, it's like it's still going to come out in theaters. You're still going to be able to, pay $20 for an HD rental, and then you'll be able to stream it on Netflix.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I got no qualms.
Yeah, it's good to know that it's going to eventually show up somewhere. I don't think it's particularly important. It's not like a game changer in any way, shape, or form, but it is nice to know that we're going to be able to see these movies on streaming services at some point.
It's a partnership, and I feel like in addition to knowing that it will show up on streaming services, it's also nice to know that I won't have to like make an account for Sony Plus, because that's also a possibility. Every motion picture company could just be like, we're gonna open up our own streaming service and like further divide the market, taking more money from our pockets, but we just get to give to our Netflix overlords and be happy with that.
I was so happy to see that the sequel to the Spider-Verse would go straight there, because I've been honestly concerned about where Spider-Man is going to go as a character. It seems like Sony owns the character and that other people rent him out, basically. They're like, give us money for Spider-Man, we'll give you Spider-Man. But like, where are we going to see these Spider-Man movies for streaming? Because they're nowhere, dude.
Yeah, I was curious about that, because I have a couple friends who have been talking about watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies in like chronological order. So not in order of release, but like in timeline order. And I remember going through Disney Plus and being like, wait a minute, where are the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah. They're not there.
They're not there. And then even if you look up like where they fit in the canon, there's like timeline continuity errors like within the movie. Like in Homecoming, they're like 8 years after the attack on New York, and then Civil War is like 6 or 5 years, so then they have to like parse that together. Really weird stuff. I'm assuming that this also means that Venom Let There Be Carnage is also coming to Netflix.
Oh yeah, I think that was announced as part of the deal.
Yeah. And
Morbius.
So I watch a lot of Funhouse. They are a gaming comedy channel on YouTube. And at the end of every Funhouse podcast, James Willems has been doing a segment called Mount Up for Morbius. It used to be like Get Ready for Cats. And it was like a joke segment where he was like, all right, we're all going to learn up on our Cats lore and then go see Cats together. And he was going to do the same thing for Morbius. And then it got delayed, and then COVID happened. And now he's been stuck doing Mount Up for Morbius for a year. So whenever I see Morbius, it's just kind of like a meme to me that, that this movie is still on slate to come out. It's probably been finished, and it's just collecting dust.
Jared Leto playing an anti-hero. I'm interested.
I'm here for it. I'm like constantly feeling like I will give Jared Leto as many chances as he can get.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I see him in a movie and I'm like, eh. And then I see him in another movie and I'm like, oh. And then the next movie I'm like, eh.
Yeah, right.
So like, I'm very back and forth with Jared Leto, and I think he's a weird dude, but I'm excited for Morbius.
Jared Leto is literally the man who like 2 weeks after the country went on lockdown, or like 3 weeks after it, that he was like, I was in the desert meditating without any social media. I had no idea this was going on.
Yeah.
Like,
is that a quote?
Paraphrasing, but yes, that's what happened. He was meditating like on a spiritual retreat somewhere, and then he came on Twitter and everything was on fire. I would like to live that kind of privileged life.
Honestly, yeah. What privilege? I was just about to say.
Yeah. The other thing that like weirds me out about Morbius is like who asked for this?
That too.
Morbius fans.
But
who's a Morbius fan?
I don't know.
Do you know anyone that's a Morbius fan?
I'm not into comic books.
But you're into superheroes.
Like...
Yeah, but I'm into superhero movies. I'm not into superhero comics. So like
Okay.
I think it's the kids who were born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s. They want Morbius now. And so they're making it.
Yeah.
This could be just a long-winded like we're going to do a Morbius movie so that when you see Spider-Man and Morbius fight, you really feel for both of our characters.
Hey, it'd be cool.
Possible too.
Yeah.
That's
because
too.
Morbius is canonically a Spider-Man villain. So I remember when this first got announced that I was like, okay, we got Venom. Now we're getting Morbius. This is very interesting. Just give me the Sinister Six movie that was supposed to come out years ago.
Never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. No.
Yeah.
Unless crazy shit happens because of Spider-Verse or like, who knows?
Or
who knows where
Strange
Spider-Man's going?
Multiverse of Madness, which is confirmed to have a lot of Spider-Men in there. So
exactly. No Way Home, like that feels like it could be a little multiversey to me, especially if it's coming after Multiverse of Madness.
I feel like no,
it's coming before because it's supposed to come out in December this year. So,
guys, I think that No Way Home is gonna lead right into Multiverse of Madness as if they're like siblings.
I think No Way Home is gonna be like he has no way to get into like his universe. I think that's what it's gonna be.
That'd be dope.
I think it's going to start off small scale where it's like he can't go back to New York because things that happen at the end of Far From Home. And then it's going to result in him literally not being able to get back to his home planet.
Or his home Earth, like Earth 20,
20 whatever. Yeah.
You know, like, yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Spider-Man.
So we gotta go to it. Oh man, I mean it'll never happen, but like I wish that they would like go to like a universe where like Tony Stark's still alive. But Doctor Strange said how many scenarios in which
one.
You know, so
that's that's only one.
So.
It's only one where they win.
Right. Oh, so they could have lost, but Tony could still be alive. Robert Downey Jr.'s done though. I think he retired Tony.
We'll see. He might always come back for a cameo. Yeah. It's possible.
I'm a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan too. Speaking of things that Sony is trying to give us that I don't remember anyone asking for, news broke out this week. So there was a lot of internal discussions and like emails that kind of like leaked out of Sony Entertainment Company, specifically the gaming department. Sequels being pitched to games that didn't do commercially well, that were turned down, and other things. But one of the most interesting things that ended up catching Twitter by storm is that apparently a remake of The Last of Us is coming out
for PS5, right?
I would assume so.
I heard about this too. I mean, didn't they just remaster the PS3 version for PS4?
No, they remastered the PS3 version for PS4 like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was when the PS4 had like first came out. It was a year one HD remaster, but now they're remaking it. But why?
So people on the PS5 can play it.
Yeah, I think it's so that people on the PS5 who played Last of Us Part 2 are like, wait a minute, I don't get it. I didn't play the first one.
But just release the HD remaster.
Maybe they're doing that, but they're just upgrading everything because everything has to be upgraded.
Yeah, I think that like the hardware now has to support the software.
The audio and
everything's gotta be upgraded.
I'm just a little sus because of the word remake. Like we got Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was a complete overhaul of the original late 90s, early 2000s game. Because there's no way that would satisfy consumers on current gen, right? We also got Resident Evil 2 remake, which was a complete overhaul of the original game, graphically and gameplay wise. So when I see The Last of Us remake, I'm like, this game isn't even a decade old. Do we really need to, like, I don't know. It's weird.
Do we need to remake it? No. The things I think they might do are bring plot points from Last of Us 2 into Last of Us 1, introducing characters who we know are around the events of Last of Us 1, but not seen in Last of Us 1 because they didn't have voice actors yet. Because there are certain characters in Last of Us 2 who are revealed to be a part of the plot in Last of Us 1, but we didn't know they were part of the plot. They were just generic soldier number 5 who ends up being so-and-so in Last of Us Part 2. So we can add that. We can add prone, which was a mechanic that they added to Last of Us 2 that people have been asking for in Last of Us 1 for a really long time. We can play with the multiplayer a little bit more, give us some more changes around the multiplayer that they had been playing with. There are a lot of things that they could do in a full remaster or a full remake of the game that might add some additional elements to it. I'm not going to knock it yet. I'm not going to I've heard a lot of people on Twitter kind of bashing it already, and it's like, it was leaked in an email that you don't have the context of about something that you don't really know what they're doing to it. So let's just wait and see. Maybe they just release it and it ends up being a couple things that people want, and who cares, because now more people can play The Last of Us.
It just irks me because it's like, either way you slice it, Sony is telling probably their most popular dev, don't work on something new, remake something old.
Sure.
And that irks me. It's like, yes, we all love The Last of Us, but the original one still holds up to today's standards. There's games that come out that don't compare to the original Last of Us. So I don't know, to be focusing, especially on a new console and a new generation, to be focusing efforts on old stuff instead of seeing like new exploratory ideas on a new console. All this new potential is there, and we're still kind of confining it to the games of yesterday.
I think that's the problem with capitalism in 2021, is that everyone is trying to capitalize on things that have already been successful and not taking those financial leaps and risks in investing in something that is new and doesn't have any traction and is like a completely new idea, and no one is behind it yet because it doesn't exist, and they'll only maybe get behind it once the first teaser's dropped. And I think especially during a pandemic, they're playing it safe and using all the nostalgia and fan bases that they can to make their content.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's not just video games, you know.
No, it's not just video games. Hollywood's been doing this for the majority of the 2010s.
Yeah, just remakes, reboots, old IPs being turned into movies. We've talked about it in the past. Hopefully, we'll find out more info about this Last of Us remake at E3.
Yeah, E3. E3's coming back, guys. Jacob, you're shaking your head.
I know, why everyone did their own E3 this year, and now E3 is coming back.
It was interesting because E3, which is the Electronic Entertainment Expo, kind of started off as a trade show, developers and news outlets only kind of event. It wasn't really a public thing. As it continued on, the public was like, we want access, and so they started letting more of the general public in, and then also started uploading their conferences to YouTube and stuff. And then it got to a point where it was just open to the public, and then I heard that year it was actually kind of a mess.
Well, that was the year that we got Fallout 76 It Just Works, which
it just didn't.
Historically been proven false, but it turned E3 into a hype show where a bunch of people were just hyping things rather than an actual trade show where companies were saying, here's where we're really at with our products, and here's what we expect for the future. It's now just become the new floor show to be like, look at our stuff.
E3 was the Comic-Con for video games. That was it. It was you go to Comic-Con and you see the new Avengers trailer, you see the new Batman outfit. That was E3. And even before Fallout 76, Nintendo used to be a big part of E3, and they stopped doing it. a few years ago.
I think it's for that reason. I think it's because it became like Comic-Con. It was no longer closed doors. We're going to tell the media what we're working on so they can prep stories, and became a hype show. It became, come here to see the latest trailers and the latest trends so that we can hype our stuff, not we're giving you in advance.
Check under your seats. You all have a Nintendo Switch Lite in a bag under there.
It became a production rather than, hey, we're working on these 5 games, just so you guys know. Here are the dates we're looking at right now, so you can prep your stories for the future. If you want to be talking about this game, you should probably start talking about it in like October, because we're planning a big trailer release in November, and then in December. Like, they were able to give more of that information because it wasn't about, but I want to see something. Yeah. Now it's become fans wanting to see stuff, which is cool, but that's not what E3 was supposed to be. E3 was supposed to be a trade show.
The other interesting thing that I've heard about E3 from a developer standpoint was that it was like, you know, E3 is always in June. So it's like, no matter what you were working on, you had to stop and get something ready for E3.
Yeah.
Which led to things like the now infamous like Watch Dogs reveal, where it was like, look at how beautiful and perfect this game is. And that game was that was what was known as like a vertical slice, right? Like, this is like, in a picture perfect world, this is how your game will look. But it was definitely not representative of its final footage, and that caused a lot of chaos in the gaming community.
Yeah, it's become a trend now. The E3 trailer, the E3 Destiny trailer, the E3 Division trailer, the E3...
It's always Ubisoft, too.
Fallout 76 trailer, the E3 Watch Dogs... Like, a bunch of companies would take their giant open world games, slice one block out of them, perfect them, and say, this is the game. And it's like, no, that's the one block that you've worked on for the past month so you can show it off for E3 that you're then going to chuck in the trash because you have to make sure everything looks like that, and there's no chance you're getting there.
Is the last E3 the one where we saw just like literally 5 seconds of the new Skyrim game?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So as the years went on, I think more developers and more companies started to realize that, because there was even a point where Sony pulled out of E3 and it was just kind of Microsoft. And I believe that was 2019, and then 2020 happened. We don't need to talk about that. But now E3's back. And it's going to be an online only event, and it's supported by Nintendo, Xbox, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take-Two Interactive, which is responsible for like Borderlands and like MLB, 2K games, Warner Bros, and Coke Media. Not like the drink, but like the Koch brothers.
It's interesting that Sony has decided not to come back.
Is it? I mean, we saw this really interesting trend where, right, I feel like Nintendo really started it off with their treehouses, with their directs. And sure. Nintendo was the first big gaming company to say, we don't need E3. We can do this on our own schedule. Because then Sony started coming out with State of Play, and then 2020 happened, where there were no expos for any of these developers to announce their products. So they had to announce it on their own time. Now, I think Sony and Nintendo have kind of switched places, where Sony is like, well, we'll just keep doing this stuff on our own time and not have to feel pressured by June 10th or whatever. Listen, I'm a gamer. E3 is like Christmas for me every year, because it's like this is what I have to look forward to in gaming. It's Comic-Con. It's so exciting for me every year. I'm excited for it. I feel weird that it's like online only. I would prefer it to be online only, since we're not like back to normal yet.
Sure.
But I'm interested to see how an online only E3 pans out.
E3 has a special place in my heart, because E3 is, for most people who don't know, E3 is like the prologue to chapter 0 of Blackwolves. Because one of the first video that the 3 of us ever made together as a group was a competition entering short film for E3. Jeremy and I were trying to get one of the like 10 public access tickets to E3. And so we got Jacob and some other friends who ended up working with us.
Elective member Will Callahan.
Being Blackwolves, to help us put this thing together. And we made a little South Park like short film thing for E3. So that was kind of the the prelude to us actually starting Blackwolves a year later.
Wow, that was my first time directing.
Yeah.
Just realizing that now.
E3 has a special place in my heart for that reason. I'm interested to see what gets announced. I'm not like E3, but you know, we'll see what happens. It'll be an interesting show. There'll be some cool announcements. We'll talk about them here.
And speaking of cool announcements, the SAG Awards just happened, and some very historically important things happened. For the first time in SAG Awards history, 4 POC actors won the major awards. Chadwick Boseman and Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Daniel Kaluuya for Judas and the Black Messiah, and
Yoon Ya Jung for Minari, which I was really surprised about. That was the one that I was like, really? That was the one category that I was like, okay, this one is kind of a toss-up. I don't know where it's going to go. That was not the direction I thought it was going to go, but I'm very happy that it did.
Yay.
Yay, giving older actors who have not been recognized with parts and award recognition. I love that.
Yeah, it's an important moment, especially after the messy Golden Globes this year. It's good to see other award shows, spreading the love around.
It's nice to see good performances get rewarded. Performances that really feel like they were unique and special. I'm always looking for that in award shows. I think finding ways to award not necessarily the best performance, but perhaps the most unique, the most
deserving.
Yeah, most specific for the actor. Like, I tend to think of award shows as not who did the best, but could any other actor have given this performance? There are certain movies where it's like, oh yeah, so-and-so did great, but I could see 5 other actors giving a performance equal to that performance. And then there are other movies where it's like, no, this is the only actor who could have played this part.
Saying that this person was better than 4 other people is completely subjective.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to find a new metric by which to award.
Yeah. I think it's like, well, in my mind, it's like Minari versus like something like Hillbilly Elegy. Nothing against the actors in Hillbilly Elegy, but like I would think that the actors in Minari are more worthy of the award.
Sure. In addition to the 4 major acting awards, we also had Trial of the Chicago 7 winning Outstanding Cast, which I think it absolutely deserved.
Outstanding ensemble.
I loved Judas and the Black Messiah. I wish that it had gotten a win, besides just Daniel winning for Best Supporting Actor. However, Trial of Chicago 7 is an incredible movie. They're both really solid, and they both take place around the same events. So I'm excited to see it getting recognition.
Yeah, if you watch Trial of the Chicago 7 before watching Judas and the Black Messiah, I feel like it gives you a deeper understanding of the events.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of context. And Wonder Woman 84 won for stunts.
What do you mean Tenet didn't get any award for stunts? They have to learn their choreography backwards.
I'm sorry, man.
Sorry, it's okay. No, it's fine. I wasn't even mad about it. It was just something I saw online, and I was like, oh yeah. Anyway.
And while I think the SAG Awards did a good job, it is worth pointing out that the 4 film awards all went to people of color, and all the TV awards went to white actors. Just something to be aware of, that we have to note on it going forward, that it's not saying any of these actors are not deserving. It's just something to acknowledge. And those winners were Mark Ruffalo for I Know This Much Is True, and Anya Taylor-Joy for Queen's Gambit for limited series. Jason Bateman for Ozark, and Gillian Anderson for The Crown for Best Dramatic Series, and Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso, and Catherine O'Hara for Schitt's Creek for Best Comedic Series. And then The Crown and Schitt's Creek won Best Casts, with Mandalorian winning for Best Stunts.
Right.
Some good selections. The one that I'm a little hesitant about is The Crown for Best Cast, but I haven't seen it, and a lot of people have said the cast was incredible, so hats off to them. Schitt's Creek, I totally understand winning. It was their final season. They did incredible work. They told some really, really powerful stories this season. So congratulations to everyone who won. Not taking anything away from them. Your peers award you.
Yeah, we're not judging you. We're judging the infrastructure around you.
I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, because it's not Anya Taylor-Joy's fault that she won. She didn't give herself the award.
She also
She embodied that role.
Absolutely
She did
incredible work.
You did great,
We would love to work with you.
True.
Hashtag Anya Taylor-Joy if you're watching this.
Legitimately,
Hey.
any actor on this list that was like, we want to work with Blackwolves, I would say yes in a heartbeat.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Duh.
Nothing, no hesitation. And from movies of the past, we move to movies of the future.
Movies of the future. Yeah, we have a few movies coming out this week.
They came out yesterday, 6 of them.
It's always a Friday.
It'll be like 4 days ago when the podcast premieres. But for us,
We had a few movies that came out this week.
yes,
Sure.
there you go. That's good.
First one on the list is Voyagers, directed and written by Neil Berger, who also did Interview with an Assassin, The Illusionist, The Lucky One. He directed The Upside, Divergent, and Limitless, starring Colin Farrell, Ty Sheridan from Ready Player One, Lily Rose Depp, and Fionn Whitehead. This movie looks like it's about... Okay, so what I understand the plot to be is some bullshit's happening to the Earth. So we gotta send some kids up to space to be the next generation, right?
Bro, it's like Wall-E. It's the first gen Wall-E.
We gotta send some kids up to space. They're gonna be manned. They're gonna be, led by one white man. I'm sure that's not gonna go wrong. And they're gonna be up there for 86 years. And they're gonna drink this water that has some blue in it. And then when the kids are in their like adolescence, their teens, their senses are dulled. Like, I'm not exactly sure what the science is behind it.
I'm assuming based on the trailer that the blue stuff that they're drinking dulls all of their emotion.
Yeah.
So that they're not.
What do you? Yeah. So what else? So you have a bunch of desensitized teens in space, and one of them has the idea to stop taking the desensitizing drug. Violence, sex seems to ensue afterwards.
Oh yeah.
I remember when we watched the first trailer for this, Logan, that you and I were both like, this just looks like sex. But as more trailers kept on coming out, and it wasn't just like sex, but it was like, it's like totally dulling all of our senses.
Violence, joy, depression, everything.
Then I was like, oh wait, this movie might be kind of interesting.
My mom said when we watched the trailer that it looked like Lord of the Flies meets Interstellar. I would throw a little bit of Requiem for a Dream in there.
Yeah, looks like it.
What's that movie with Jennifer Lawrence and
Passengers?
Little Passengers in there, yeah. Definitely. Honestly,
I mean, Passenger, Voyagers.
When I first saw the trailer, I was like, this looks dumb. I don't want to see this. The latest trailer I watched, I was like, this looks really good. I really want to see this. So I'm interested. I'm excited, honestly. This one looks pretty cool.
Yeah. What do we have next on the list? Oh, Thunder Force.
Yeah, going from dark space film about no emotions to just pure comedy about superheroes.
Yeah. Thunder Force,
Netflix's movie of the week.
Netflix's movie of the week, a superhero comedy starring Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, and Bobby Cannavale. Ooh, I heard my parents watching this last night, and I wanted to ask them how it was. Should I like call my mom over to give me her review?
Sure.
Oh, let me see what I can do.
We need to do a podcast, Ma. I need you to do a quick segment on the podcast. It's a Packcast.
Just get like the Sparks Notes version.
I don't know where she is. I just called out her name. I don't know where she is.
But
I heard a few laughs, so that's good.
Whether it's good or it's bad, a superhero movie starring 2 women where the women are not stick thin models, I'm all here for.
And older.
Yeah, it looks exciting and it looks new. As much as like it feels like a Melissa McCarthy movie, it's nice to see that kind of tone being put in the superhero genre. It feels like we're finally like, okay, we've done the superhero thing.
Yeah, we're getting
do different now.
We're getting postmodern with superhero stories with stuff like Thunder Force and The Boys and Invincible, the new animated Amazon show.
Reminds me of like The Tick and Shazam a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Directed and written, of course, by Ben Falcone, who is married to Melissa McCarthy. The two of them work together on pretty much everything he directs, so they seem to have a good rapport together. I would be very interested in how much of this script Ben Falcone actually wrote and how much of the script he just wrote down like X happens.
Spark notes for
improv this scene.
Yeah, because Melissa McCarthy can improv.
Yeah, and so can
she's
Octavia
funny.
Spencer.
She's funny when left to her own devices.
Yeah, and Jason Bateman makes a
an
appearance as what looks like a lobster man.
But he's a Capricorn.
He's not a Cancer.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
I love Jason Bateman. He's so good at being like funny and serious at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when he's like even in like shows like Ozark where it's like kind of serious and dark all the time, like
you can't help but laugh, right?
Yeah. What else we got, Logan?
We've got some super indie movies and some foreign language films, which I feel like start to fall under the category of super indie movie because most Americans don't watch foreign language films unless they get nominated for Oscars, i.e. Parasite, i.e. Train to Busan. We're hopeful to use Blackwolves to promote more movies. So we're starting with The Tunnel, which is a Norwegian film directed by director Paul Oy. Hopefully I pronounce all these names right, and I apologize to all of these artists if I don't. It's a Norwegian film. The only person that us as an American audience would probably know is Thorbjorn Har, who was on the TV show Vikings playing Jarl Borg. You know, it looks like an action-adventure movie about a girl who's trapped in a tunnel in Norway. Her father has to go in and save her.
Looked intense.
Yeah, looks intense. Could be interesting. In addition to that, we have My True Fairy Tale, which is based on true events.
This looked really interesting, actually.
It looked bizarre. It's a Gravitas feature, directed and written by D. Mitri. It is his first feature with a lot of pretty much unknown actors. Actors who haven't really been seen in anything except for Hector Hugo, who's known for The Iceman and Criminal Minds. You'll recognize him the moment you see him. You'll be like, oh, it's that guy. I don't know if I'm super interested in this one, but Jeremy, you said you were.
Yeah, it looked interesting. At first I thought it was gonna be like a Christian movie, because it was like these kids, they're like, you know, they're driving like 45 in a 15-mile zone, and then they crash, and then it's like this girl, there's voiceover from this girl, and she's kind of like speaking in the past tense, and she's like, I always wanted to be a superhero, and I thought it was gonna be like a Christian movie, but then it's like, wait, she might not actually be dead. She's leaving signs. Hey, that bruise didn't come from the accident. That came from her. Why is her passport missing? So like maybe she's alive. I don't know. This is some like John Green bullshit, and I'm kind of here for it.
Another superhero movie.
Yay.
Up next is actually the one that I am the most excited for this week. Voyagers looks good, but this looks utterly fantastic. The Last Rite, which is directed and written by Eof Crehan, who's a female director. Yes, all the other directors we've had this week have been white men. Doing her first feature, starring Naima Algar from Raised by Wolves, Samuel Bottomley from Get Duked, Brian Cox from Succession, and Michael Huesman of Game of Thrones and the Flight Attendant fame. This one looks just beautiful. It looks really well shot. It looks like a beautiful story about life and love and passion and who we are and who we leave behind. Seeing Brian Cox play a role that's not him cursing at his children interests me always.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked Michael Huesman when he was on Flight Attendant. I thought he was one of the best parts of the show. So I'm definitely very interested in seeing this one. This is the kind of movie that I'm probably going to sit down and watch this week. So I look forward to telling you guys how it is. And then finally, we have Slalom.
Yeah.
French film, also directed by a woman director, directing her first feature as well, Charlene Favier. All of the actors have been in French films, so there's nothing that really an American audience would be aware of. If you watch French cinema, you might recognize some of these folks. I got about 15 seconds into the trailer and went, cool, when is the coach going to start acting inappropriate toward his athlete that he's supposed to be training, who's supposed to be like 15? When are we going to get to that? Oh, there it is.
Yep.
There's the moment.
It happened in the trailer.
It happened very quick. This looks like athlete performing at the top of their class and their coach becomes obsessed in love with them. This is a story we've seen a couple times. It's a story that's happened in the real world. I'm very interested in it. It's probably going to be really brutal. But you know, it looks like a good movie. It looks like something that's gonna be really well acted. So keeping an eye out for that one as well.
Wow, look at all this content that we have to look forward to. But what content are we consuming right now? Jacob, let's start with you.
All right. I just finished Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS4. Thank you, Logan.
How was it?
Great game. I mean, the skill tree is beautiful.
Oh, the way that story ends, right?
So good. So good. Dude. Logan's got to get to it. Logan, you got to play through that game, man.
I do.
I had so much fun. Thank you.
Of course.
What else? I just started Fez.
Oh,
great pick.
Fez. Interesting game.
And very interesting like developer lore behind it. I don't know much about it. If you get that into Fez, there's stories about the developer himself and the struggles he went through.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And what led to the canceled sequel to Fez 2. There's like a lot.
Oh, yeah. Well, I gotta get farther. Still watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's great. I started a new podcast by the Workaholics guys.
Nice.
And that's been hilarious. You know,
I
watched that show in middle and high school. And man, it's nice to like come back and have them telling all these stories. That's pretty much all that's new with me, consummation wise. Logan. Consumption wise, consummation is something very different. Yep.
That's what you do. That's what you do on your honeymoon. You consummate the marriage.
Right. Yes. Right. I've never done that.
Sure, I'll save you, Jacob. Last week we talked about Concrete Cowboy. I got the chance to watch it. It was absolutely fantastic. I love it. Jarrell Jerome is a fucking superstar.
Dude, fuck yeah.
He came out of nowhere with When They See Us, and then all of a sudden he was everywhere. And I'm completely fine with it. Caleb McLaughlin crushes it. I said last week I was excited to see him getting a chance to play something that's not Stranger Things, and he does not play Stranger Things here. Idris Elba gives an amazing performance, and something that I did not know is that like half of the cast is played by actual writers from the stable that they're doing the movie about.
Well, that's awesome.
And like not like side characters, not like in one scene gone, like main characters that have full arcs where I was like, what has this actor been in before? And then looked them up and was like, oh, that's not an actor. That's just a person that's telling a story.
See, again, here we are approaching that weird hybrid.
But they're not playing themselves. That's the thing. They're playing actual characters that are based around their experiences. Content warning, because I don't feel like the trailer warns enough about it. And I have seen some warnings about it online. There is gun violence in the movie. So if you're going into the movie, be prepared for that. It's not talked about in the trailer, and it's not really talked about in the rating system. So I would warn people about that in approaching it.
Just really quick side note, I like in recent years the resurgence of the image of the black cowboy.
Yes, me too.
It's not something we get enough. I feel like my first exposure to it was with Solange's When I Get Home and that visual album, and now we're getting it again with Concrete Cowboy. So I'm very happy for that representation. And
it is not a legend. It is not a fairy tale. It is not a story of yesteryear. This is something that is still very much happening and very much alive today. These are people who live full lives and who dedicate themselves to this lifestyle of being the modern cowboy. And I think it's really, really cool that we're getting to shed a light on that and kind of showcase these stories that have kind of been brushed to the side by people who want to whitewash history. In addition to that, I've been watching Criminal Minds. I'm almost at the end of season 1. Very good show. I am playing Watch Dogs Legion. I'm playing Binding of Isaac still, Apex Legends. I watched a little bit more of The Boys, which is a great show. Really enjoying season 2 of that, even though it makes me brutally uncomfortable from time to time.
Yeah, like can't watch.
Yeah, just like watching through fingers.
And it's not even violence half the time.
No, it's not.
It's
is it cringe?
Yeah.
Big Logan cringe.
The way you both just like silently nodded at the same time.
In addition to that, I started The Irregulars, which is the Sherlock Holmes but not Sherlock Holmes show.
Right.
Don't expect Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
I've gotten through 2 episodes and he's not in it yet. So
that's the point though, right?
I mean, it's the story of like these people that help him and John out, but it feels more like it's their story, that because the creators were the promoters, producers, whatever you want to call them, were worried that people wouldn't sign on for that show. They were like, but it's about Sherlock. And they tried to push that angle. Whereas I would have rather them just be like, these are these 4 detectives who fight against supernatural crime. And who's that they're helping out? Like, I would have rather it be a mystery rather than like, oh, this is a Sherlock show, but it's not actually a Sherlock show. We'll see how I feel as the season continues on, but that's very good. I'm also consuming, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, Zoom for Change, which you should all be consuming as well. It's an incredible thing to be a part of. So definitely link in the description. Go check it out. But that's all I've been consuming this week. Jeremy.
Well, to cap it all off, I'm still watching RuPaul's Drag Race. We have a top 4. I was going to say my teams, but just in case no one's watched it, I don't want to spoil it. But as I've said before, I've been Team Simone this whole season. So yeah.
I'm going to take like little caps of every episode that you talk about being Team Simone. And no matter what happens at the end of the show, I'm going to clip them together so that we can...
do the same with Tenet, and we've got a movie.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. It's only a matter of time till I get like a big Tenet poster. I watched the first episode of The World Ends With You, the animation, which is an anime adaptation of the original Nintendo DS game, The World Ends With You. There's also a video game sequel coming out to the game, coming out this year, called Neo, The World Ends With You. So I think they're using the anime to modernize it a little bit and tie it together. I was a little concerned about it before watching it just because of the animation style, but it's actually pretty badass.
Nice.
I'm ready for the next episode. I watched the first episode of the new season of My Hero Academia. If you like My Hero, like it's My Hero. Like, come on, guys. Once again, Logan asked to watch another episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, and who am I to tell him no? I have been listening to this new Brockhampton album, Roadrunner.
I heard it's amazing.
We have it on CD already.
It just came in the mail today. It came in this wonderful limited edition box. Ooh, it's so shiny.
Brockhampton.
Dude, that one song though.
Oh, Bankroll?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hold on. I don't want to get too carried away talking about this album, but I think, like, Saturation Trilogy aside, this is their best album yet.
That's a heavy claim.
I think this is their best album yet. I'll continue by saying I think this is the album that would have / should have came out after the Saturation Trilogy.
Okay.
Every song is a bop. Like, there's like no skips, no fade outs. It all ties together so seamlessly. Lots of features from A$AP Ferg, A$AP Rocky, Danny Brown, JPEG Mafia. Woo! There's beats that sound like Tribe Called Quest. There's beats that sound like A$AP. There's Brockhampton. It's cool. It's really good. It's so good.
They're the best boy band since One Direction.
Kind of true.
Straight up.
I started my Proud Mode playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix.
Nice.
Already feeling like maybe I should have just played Critical because I'm kind of breezing through it.
Woo.
Shrug. But I don't want to watch all those cutscenes again. So
you can skip all the cutscenes.
I know, but it's still so much. Like, listen, I love Roxas to death, but I don't want to have to like deliver mail again.
Yeah, true. You
know what else? Still playing Apex Legends. We did good, and lately we haven't been doing good. But there were like two, 3 nights where we were just on a really good streak, and like I was getting 4 kills. Like, I'm happy if I get 1 kill, so 4 kills. This was like a lot for me. And now I hate my life because I'm getting nothing now.
They've upped the skill rating.
Apparently, and I got back into Tekken 7 recently because my friend wanted to get his ass beat, and who am I to tell him no? If you would like to get your ass beat by me in Tekken 7, add me on PSN at Neon Burgundy. Same thing as my artist name. And with that, hopefully I won't regret that next week when I come back crying. Like, people bullied me on my favorite video game. And with that, we're gonna wrap up our Packcast. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you check out the links below for the links to Beam and the links for our GoFundMe for Zoom for Change. And we hope to see you this Friday,
7 p.m.
7 p.m. this Friday, Dinner with Friends. I'm your host, Jeremy Van Suarez.
I'm Jacob Wade.
And I'm Logan Riley Bruner.
And I don't know, sayonara.